Right, everyone, good afternoon. What I've been asked is how filter effects work. Not all filter effects. There's a specific one the question was about. And I thought, you know what, we've never done it in a lesson, so I'm going to do it with you today. You're going to see how this will work. I'm going to take this heading off because we don't need it. I only need it for the beginning of the video. And as you all know, my lessons that I record, ladies, usually I don't edit them, and I won't be editing this. It's just one of my lessons. I'm going to share it with everyone. So it's for everybody today. So the first thing I need to let's get a square. Or you can get any shape. It could be a square, a heart, any shape you want. But what you then have is something that you can do with it. And an easy way, or what I was asked to show how I would use, was this. Let's do it a different color because I already did a blue one. And the effect that I'm going to show you is, for instance, if I click on bevels, I've got an effect here. I called it blue effect. And if I click on it, that will take that design, makes it blue, make that design there. But how did I do that? Let's undo. So I'll show you. If I go onto format and roll all the way down to, I need to be on the square, format, I've got filter effects. And it's got 3 dots. When you see 3 dots, don't be afraid. That means it's going to open a window. And here we are. I've got my window open. Now, in here, there are a lot of things that you can experiment with. You've got drop shadows, inner shadow, outer shadow, outline. There's loads of different things. But the one that I was specifically asked whether I knew anything about is this reflection map. And when I go on reflection map, I'll find that to start with, it does not seem to do much. So I'll show you. If I take, let's leave that as normal for now. I'm going to go normal. I'm going to go opacity. And I say, ooh, let's change the opacity to 50%. And automatically that took a 3D type of design. It's changed. It's like a button. So in fact, if instead of a square, let's say, okay, for a minute, I'll come back in here. If I did it on a button, look, as a button, mind you, we've got square buttons, haven't we? Yeah, we could. And let's leave it. I was going to go and do a circle instead, but I'll do one with a circle afterwards. So I'm in there. I'm on 3D effects. And I went to reflection. Now, on reflection, I can also adjust. I'll move it a little so you can see the scale, but this doesn't seem to do anything when I am on just the normal and just the color, okay? And neither will the rotation. At the moment, nothing happens if I do it on there. So you say, when will I be able to use that? Now, we've got patterns. So let's have a look at patterns. And you have 2 sets of patterns in there. Now, my ladies, I know you've never seen them, but some of the other people working here would have used them or know about them. So you've got the indoor environment, and it gives you certain designs. And you've got the outside environment, and it gives you another type of set. And if I click on one, and I say, okay, you say, well, it only took the color up, which it did. But let's see what happens if we start making a bit of changes on the blend mode. So I'm going to go to blend mode. And I'm going to go through, I know which ones I like, but I'm going to go through some of them. So if I went to the first one, dissolve, I now get that design. And if I do get that design, this is where you can probably make some difference on the scale. As you can see, it will change differently. Can you see? And I've got less color there. more color there, so it's darker at the bottom. So now that's when I can use my rotation and start rotating the design. So when it was just one color, nothing happens. You say, well, what are these for? But when you put something on and start changing the normal to a different blend mode, that's when you start getting different results. So now I'm going to try another one. Let's see multiply. What does multiply do? Oh, it just brought back just what I had, but I'm going to go on a different one. Let's try that one for now and see if that makes any difference to it. And it gave it a shadow. And now my circular and my circle rotation there, look, I can decide where the shadow or the light is coming from. So that's when they start working. When I'm ready, I say, let's try another one. There's a couple you can try. Opacity, you can change it so it gets darker or lighter. You can play with these. But let's have a quick look at some more. Overlay. Overlay changes it into two colors. And again, if I don't like that, let's see the others. I could go and say, what does this do? You can try any of them. They'll all give you a different design. Now, when I'm ready, I can turn it around to decide where the light or the design is coming from. You can scale it and it makes more or less, it changes. Can you see it looks deeper now? When you're ready and you're happy with it, you say, okay. The problem now is if I wanted something else, maybe text with that design, there's no way I'm going to remember and get it back or do it again in a week or a month's time. So what you do when you're on it, you can go to Format, Create Graphic Style, and whichever style you're in, so I'm usually in bevels, that's why they come in here. If I said create a graphic style from that selection, it will pick them straight in. And now all I need to do is name it. So I could call it purple. I think it was an indoor, but just purple design. Doesn't really matter because I'll see it anyway. I'll know which one it is. And I'll say I'm going to keep it there in bevels. I'm all right. Click OK. And there you go. I now have it in there. So what happens next is very simple. If I wanted a circle, and I'll show you some tricks because that's how I like to use them. And I'll click on that one to test it. And I say, oh, I like that. It's like a button. But button has holes or have holes. So look what you can do. I go to punches. I pick up a little circle. Something that size compared to this one. And I just copy it and paste it. And then move it next to it there. And then align them. I like to align things because they look better when you do align them. Copy them, paste them, and again, drag them there. So I've got my four holes. Now, if I bring them on top of my button there, let's see what happens. Punch a hole, punch a hole. Now, because it takes that space, I could have made them slightly smaller or a little bit further away from one another. But you know what? At the end of the day, when I moved those four holes out, I created myself a button. But that's not all, because the same designs I created before, I can now write my name or anything to be fair. I can go and change my font first. This is always as I do, ladies, give you ideas. And once I did, I say, how does it look if I use that design? And there you go. You can do anything you want. Now, of course, I can bring flowers in and put a flower on top of it and design it like we normally do. Another thing I saw today, which I know for a fact I taught you all, but I'm going to edit in because I know somebody said, oh my goodness, I just found out that when you do a sentiment, you can then edit and keep it to save. Now I'm hoping they're talking about the sentiment within the program itself. So look, I'm going to change this. Let's do something with it first. I'm going to do how I normally do. I type in happy and I leave it in normal text, but I'm going to do it in that font, okay? Then I'm going to do birthday. Got capital locks on, so hold on a second. I'm going to do birthday, and I need it without the caps on. Because I'm thinking of using a font that would not work if I had capital locks on. That's why I'm changing it, all right? So for instance, that one. So happy birthday. Again, I can use the same font, and look at that. Isn't it beautiful? So I'll place my happy there. Birthday. And I might then have Susan a bit smaller because it's a bit fat font, and I'll set it up. Let me just adjust it. Bear with me, everyone. There it goes. Happy birthday, Susan. Now, if I pick them all up, it says add as a sentiment. And I already showed you this. I go add as a sentiment. Now, under my sentiments, because I set up my category called my sentiments, I've got anniversary and yours truly. So if I'm on that my sentiment, I can add one called birthdays. Birthdays. And I say add. It will say add new or add to existing. I want to add it to the existing one. So I'm going to say add to existing. You must select the existing. Oh, add new because I'm on the top one. So let's start add new. And there you go. When I go back in, let's get rid of that. I'm not going to lose it. I'll go into my sentiments. And when I go into birthdays, it's there. I'll just bring it in. Click on it first and bring it in. And there you go. I've got it done and it will stay there forever. And you say, but what if I wanted it a different color? So what? Look, I'm going to highlight them all. Use the other one I decided to do earlier, preparing for my session. And I go, I want that one. And there you go. I've changed it to the one I want. So we again opened one thing, a whole can of worms, as they say. So what I'm going to do is stop recording here. I think to share with everybody, there is enough. And then after I take your questions, everyone, I will do another video that will be exclusive for you. Okay, so that will be fair for everyone. So let's thank you for listening to that part, anybody who's not on the lesson.